All right, and we're live on Facebook and YouTube now, and just checking our Instagram is working. Great. Awesome. All right, so hey guys, welcome to the CPD Junkie podcast, hashtag lockdown special, where every night at 8 p.m. we're bringing you interviews with dentists sharing their CPD stories and journeys from around Australia. What better way to learn than to follow those who have done it before? CPD Junkie is Australia's most comprehensive CPD, so head over to cpdjunkie.com.au and become a member for free to access the full features of the site. I'm your host, Laurence Doan, and today we are joined by two representatives from SUDA, Annie Johnson and Kevin Zhang. SUDA works to support the academic and social lives of its members. We're building a sense of community within the School of Dentistry, the University of Sydney, and the dental profession. We're trying to ensure that the students graduate not only as competent dental professionals, but informed, connected, reliable, and compassionate members of the community. The student body consists of an enrolled students in the School of Dentistry and includes approximately 370 students studying a Bachelor of Dentistry or a Doctor of Dental Medicine degree, and approximately 90 students studying a Bachelor of Oral Health degree. The University of Sydney student body provides a large bulk of treatment in the public oral health sector at Westmead Hospital, as well as providing treatment at Sydney Dental Hospital and many rural dental centres around New South Wales. And is a fourth and final year dental student. She grew up in Perth before moving here for dentistry. Her interests lie in orthodontics and endodontics. She spends a lot of her free lockdown time doing as many CPDs as she can afford. Kevin is a third year dental student who grew up in a corner shop. He knows firsthand the dangers of a high caries diet in kids. Having attended the dentist one too many times as a child, he's grown to appreciate the work as a dentist does. It drives him to explore and understand all fields of dentistry. He has particular interests in pediatric dentistry and oral pathology. So we've got Annie Johnson and Kevin Zhang. Welcome to the show. So both of you have very different interests in the field of dentistry. So let's start with Annie and talk to us about your interests in orthodontics and endodontics. Tell us where your interest kind of grew from.
Endo, I think, is entirely because of uni. I think all of my favorite tutors, all of my favorite clinical educators, they're all my endo tutors. And I got absolutely reamed in second year endo. So I think that made me go a little hard and get really into it, which was good. Although I don't know where that really came from. I think part of it is that it's I guess the least invasive aesthetic stuff that you can do. Like you're not adding or cutting or anything, but it just makes such a big difference, like those small different changes with ortho. So I think that's what makes me really love it. Yeah.
Fair enough. And over to Kevin. You say you're interested in pediatric dentistry and oral pathology. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's kind of a funny story when it comes to pediatric dentistry. I think my parents had a news agency that I was there for my entire childhood. So you can understand the temptation to sneak down in the middle of the night and steal a chocolate bar here or there. So I had childhood caries everywhere. So luckily enough, we had one of those outreach clinics, which was a block away. So I would always walk there by myself to get dental treatment. My parents will pick me up afterwards. But I always go in early just to talk to the dentists. And they were really quite nurturing at a young age. So that kind of built my sort of passion towards pediatric dentistry. And then when it comes to oral pathology, I think it's really just the problem solving and those sort of little intricacies which can make a huge difference in a patient's outcome. So I think that's what really attracts me to oral pathology.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Would you say that, for both of you, that, the mentors that you have played a part in your interest in these particular fields, or?
Endo, 100%. Yeah, we've got great people running our endo program. So it just makes you want to do it more,
Yeah, I totally agree. I think having people there who really know what they're talking about, but really are excited to kind of convey and educate people, it just makes you interested in those subject matters as well. So endo, even at Sydney Uni, our cell pathology and pediatric dentists, they're really passionate about teaching and their profession. So it really adds to the students' motivation to learn about those things as well.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's switch gears a little bit, and get into the crux of what's happening to you guys at the moment. COVID has hit you guys hard. 2 years with large lockdowns, especially in New South Wales. How's that kind of spilled over to your student dental experience? And, for many of our older viewers wondering, what's happened and how are you guys coping, or how did you guys cope?
It's been hard. But I think it's taught us resilience more than anything. I don't think many dental graduates have graduated on such little, such big spacing between heavy intensive clinical time. So it's been really good in that sense. It's been really hard, but the time that we do have in clinic, it's maximized and we get big blocks of really intense patient time. So it's almost more like it will be in private. So maybe it's a good thing, maybe we'll all bounce back.
So you guys doing like weekend stuff, or you guys are doing like less, like shorter holidays?
There's been nothing yet. So we've only been out of clinic for a week, but they're talking about all of it. So probably no holidays because this is a holiday, and probably weekends as well. Saturday clinics. Yep.
Yeah. And how's it been for you, Alex? I mean, Kevin, sorry, Kevin.
It's been an interesting sort of process. I mean, last year we were meant to have like our first clinic session. So at the start of the year, seeing our first patients was quite daunting. But then the second lockdown, you kind of halfway through the year, we felt like we were kind of getting on a roll and starting to actually get used to the environment, because it is daunting seeing your first couple of patients. So it's frustrating as well because a lot of them needed work done, which just suddenly got halted. But the time off has kind of come at the right time for some people. It's allowed them a bit more time to like think about treatment planning, consolidate what they've learned in the first couple of months that they've seen patients. So it's about like how you kind of deal with the adversity. Like Annie said, everyone's trying to do their best. The university's trying their best to try and accommodate us. And it's just about the students having that motivation to try and like continuously enrich themselves in their time, in their spare time.
Yeah, so it's good to hear that everyone's kind of like trying to do the best that they can from all aspects as they can, and feeling supported as well. I think that's the main thing. Definitely when you're a student, sometimes you can feel a little bit isolated and not supported when you don't have communication. It sounds like you guys got open communication with all the different branches.
Trying to, yeah, definitely.
And you mentioned you've tried to attend as many courses as you can afford during this lockdown. Tell us a little bit more about that, and where have you been looking to, and why?
The afford bit, because they're very expensive, and I'm still a student. But I've been on CPD Junkie as well because there's heaps of free ones, which is what I'll lap up. But we basically, as a final year, we pretty much finished all of our like learning topics. So it's all stuff that maybe I didn't quite get the first time someone went over bonding or adhesives, or kind of the lower level stuff that you just can't learn in uni, like digital dentistry. That's a really big one. We've just got a student membership to the Institute of Digital Dentistry, and we learn very little about the newer age stuff. So it's great to, and I know that that's what we'll see in practice, because I've shadowed a few people and everyone's like, I'll just put it on the Cirec, and that's the kind of stuff that I've been looking into.
Fair enough. And for yourself, Kevin?
Yes, probably about the same thing. I think the benefit of having free CPD is it's less commitment, because especially as a student, you don't really know what you're really passionate about yet, because you've kind of only dipped your toes into all the different sort of disciplines. So to pay money for like a $400 course on like bonding or endodontics, you probably don't know enough to get full value for your money in those situations. So the free CPD courses have really helped, in searching them up on CPD Junkie and sites like that. It's really helpful because it can kind of help you navigate this like broad sort of world of dental knowledge which is available for us. Yeah.
Just want to say to all the viewers watching, we haven't told them to talk about CPD Junkie. That was not a plug, a condition, terms of conditions of signing on today. Thank you for giving the plug though. So you've mentioned that courses, they're a bit expensive for you guys at the moment. That's not kind of where you want to be. You want to be attending as much of the free ones as you can. So have you dabbled, I mean, for Annie, your interests lie more orthodontics, endodontics you mentioned. Have you dabbled into anything in particular in that aspect? I mean, we'll come back to the digital side of things, but.
I'm trying to work out, because a lot of it isn't free when you look at ortho and endo. Endo's a lot more hands-on stuff. Obviously, I can't do that right now being Sydney, but the ortho stuff, I'm trying to work my way through what the best clear aligner thing would be to look at straight off the bat. Seeing a lot of the free intro things, which are all kind of gateways into paying a few $1,000s for a course. So trying to work my way through them. Yeah. If you haven't.
That's it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, I guess you guys are members of the ADA as well, right? I'm sure that's a platform you guys could always look to. Hey,
yeah, definitely.
How have you found the Implant Digital Institute?
Oh, the IDD.
Yeah.
I just signed up today. They reached out to us and gave us a student discount through the student membership at Sydney Uni, which is amazing. It's great. There's just hundreds of hours of videos, and I don't think I've got enough time to spend on them just yet, but I'll let you know in maybe a couple of weeks more of lockdown.
Yeah. Maybe the weekend, hey.
Yeah.
Kevin, tell us, so you mentioned bonding. Those are the kind of things that you're kind of trying to look out for. Is that right?
Yeah, it's more just consolidating what we've learned in class, and then just picking up things that are of interest to me. I think I've been kind of lucky in the sense that I work at a practice with dentists who have quite large contacts. So I've actually attended some live CPD courses in orthodontics, oral surgery before, and not needing to pay just because they wanted new referrals in the future, which is in that sense. But it's more about because we don't have that practice in terms of seeing patients, having different people through their CPD courses explaining these concepts, which are kind of the bread and butter of dentistry. Eventually something clicks, because I think everyone knows that everyone learns slightly differently. So sometimes you just need to hear it from someone in a specific way for it to actually finally click.
Interesting. I think yeah, you're right. Sometimes it requires a bit more repetition before you kind of paint it, or you get to a point where it's like, oh, that kind of makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's great to make small strides to better yourself, and but don't let that kind of overwhelm your ambition to kind of be the best clinician that you can. I think it's, based off our previous guests, everyone is trying to hone their craft, slowly over time. However, if you aren't in that right now, that's also okay. So, as the up and coming dentist, when you hear those words, how does that make you feel? Words like, it's a marathon, it's not a race. You got to walk before you can run before you can fly. How does that make you feel?
Kevin?
We can go with Andy first, yeah.
I'm a very proactive person in the worst of times. In the best of times, I'm so energetic that it becomes annoying to a lot of people. So having those handcuffs, I can totally understand why I need a tutor to watch me do my first molar endo. But it does get frustrating sometimes, because I know it is a slow sort of process to develop those skills. but that fidgety part of me is like, I need to do better. I need to have higher standards in the way that I do things. So having those courses and like talking to other people to kind of put me back down to earth is really important, and just like giving that context and like that grand bigger picture sort of thing, I think is really important, especially as a student, just to know that just passing this year is not the end of it. You have many more years of learning.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess it helps that you kind of work in a dental clinic kind of setting as well, right? You work alongside other clinicians, and that kind of helps out, put it into perspective in the real world as well, would you say?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I kind of joke to some of the dentists at work that I'd rather skip a lecture here or there just to work at the dental practice, because seeing it firsthand in person, seeing the communication between dentist and patient, just spending 1 hour there is probably worth the 5-6 hours of lectures, just because that real personal sort of experience is something that you can't really replicate in online lectures or like videos like that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I wish I had kind of had that kind of exposure when I was studying. So, following on from that, who has been your biggest mentors or idols in your kind of career path, and why?
So I don't think it would be appropriate to say names, just because I think they're quite quiet sort of people. But the dentists that I've worked with, even the dentists that I saw when I was a kid, they were really interested in kind of nurturing my fascination, because I've always been fascinated in science. So them kind of helping me along the way was definitely very helpful, letting me see things, experience like fillings when I was a kid without LA. Those were just like small little details which definitely left a real lasting impact on my fascination with dentistry, for sure.
Any particular mentors or idols that you had big impact on you?
I can't say that I had the positive side of dentistry when I was a child. It definitely didn't make me want to be a dentist up until the age of about 18. But throughout uni, and anyone who's been to UCID will know Dr. D in first and second year tooth cons. She's someone that is just passionate about tooth cons, which to me in first year was just crazy. It didn't make any sense. But there's quite a few people in our faculty and like some tutors that I've talked to, and they've kind of leveled with me and gotten rid of all the other noise. And they're just passionate about what they're doing, rather than being an Instagram dentist or putting things on DPR, and just really getting down to the nitty gritty. And they just love doing the craft. And I think those are the people that have really made me want to be a dentist and love doing this.
Yeah, I think they're onto something there. I guess in this age of kind of where a lot of people want to be that on Instagram, they want to show their work and all of that, but it's not all about all that. I guess many students probably don't realize is that it's more of a highlight reel, isn't it? It's kind of like it's just the highlights. You don't actually see all the other stuff, the nits and gritty of everything, all the difficult kind of cases and all that behind the scenes.
Follow up.
Yeah, the follow-up as well. Exactly. So, that's good that they're kind of sharing that kind of knowledge and with you. So, share with us what you hope your ideal clinical or non-clinical day might look like in 5 years' time, and, what kind of CPT you want to be doing to get to that point.
5 years' time, I don't want to be doing any of the crazy stuff just yet, I don't think. No sinus lifts or anything like that. I want to be really, really good at the basics and working my way to implants and the surgical side of things, probably, or go the other way. And like I said, I've got an interest in ortho, so stuff like clear aligners really do interest me, and maybe one day a bit more than clear aligners, but that kind of thing. That's where I'd love to be in 5 years.
I think I'm in 5 years' time, seeing a patient, not needing to do a pre-procedural rinse at every single moment, asking if hot spots and all of that. But I think having a client base or like a patient base where I've built a rapport with my patients, they want to come to me, And then things like just being confident in my skills, running on time, having a good team around me, and just making sure that it's the patient first, because sometimes that kind of gets lost, especially now that dentistry is becoming more and more commercialized. Just putting the patient first, making sure that their needs are fully addressed, and just making sure that they're happy when they walk out the door. I think that's what I want to see in 5 years' time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Less about the the oral path, hey?
Hopefully, hopefully I don't see many oral pathology patients, because those probably need a bit more care. But maybe down the track, it's something I might potentially think about specializing in.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, quick rapid fire questions, you know. So, what are you guys watching at the moment, or playing games at the moment?
I'm getting very hooked up on the Olympics at the moment. Watch the table tennis in the afternoon, and I actually didn't start watching, but I kept hearing my parents going ooh, and then I looked and it was a tight match. But playing games, a new game came out. It's called Pokemon Unite, so I've been playing that with some friends. My parents always joke around how when I'm stressed, they can hear the piano being played at 6 a.m. So that's happening quite a lot at the moment.
And Annie?
I have just finished all my TV shows, but I've cracked open the old Grand Theft Auto from when I was 16. So
Desperate times calls for desperate measures, hey? What kind of shows were you watching before?
Absolute crap. To be honest with you. Reality TV show, just mindless. It's been great.
Fair enough. So what's your favorite social media platforms at the moment?
Instagram. Got to be Instagram.
I've kind of gotten into Instagram, and I've gone down deep rabbit holes I do not want to talk about at the moment.
TikTok?
Weird videos and weird.
I'm surprised TikTok's not mentioned, hey?
It's funny. A couple of the kids that we see, they keep calling me really old, because apparently Facebook is only for grandparents these days, and TikTok is a new thing. But I don't know. I'm more into the retro sort of stuff, I guess.
MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace.
So Annie Johnson and Kevin Zhang, both representatives from SUDA, thank you for coming on the show today. If you could let the people know, the students of Sydney University dental, and the oral health students, or even any governing bodies out there, kind of what's kind of going on, and how they can reach out to you.
Yeah, you can find us at USyd Dent on Instagram or on Facebook. Just look up USyd Dentistry, you'll find us. There's hundreds of different pages related to us.
Fair enough. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We hope you have a good night tonight, and hopefully, this COVID doesn't last for too long after these 4 weeks, and you guys can get back into clinic or working with some mannequins back at home, hey? Compressors.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Night, guys.
Cheers.